The It Ends With Us drama continues. Blake Lively's lawyers are now hoping to get their hands on Justin Baldoni's and his team's phone records, as they believe they will find evidence to prove their allegations that his team led a smear campaign against the actress.
What happens when Hollywood's picture-perfect image shatters under the weight of a scandal? Blake Lively, known for her glamorous roles and squeaky-clean reputation, now finds herself at the center of a shocking legal battle, one that no one saw coming. After a massive $400 million lawsuit against her was suddenly dropped, her own PR team is now reportedly turning against her. But why? And what exactly led to this dramatic fallout? Stay tuned, because this story takes twists and turns that could change everything for Lively's career. Blake Lively's legal troubles didn't start overnight. It all traces back to the highly anticipated film It Ends With Us, where she starred alongside Justin Baldoni. But behind the scenes, things were far from smooth. Reports surfaced that Lively accused Baldoni of inappropriate behavior on set, claims that allegedly range from unwanted physical contact to comments that made her uncomfortable. According to insiders, tensions between the two co-stars escalated quickly, with Lively allegedly filing complaints against Baldoni for what she described as a hostile work environment. Some sources claim that production was put on hold multiple times due to the friction between them. But instead of resolving things quietly, this behind-the-scenes drama soon spiraled into a full-fledged legal battle, one that neither side was willing to back down from. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any messier, Lively made a move that shocked everyone. Blake Lively wasn't just accusing Justin Baldoni of inappropriate behavior. She claimed the fallout went much deeper. According to her legal team, after she voiced her concerns, Baldoni allegedly retaliated in a way no one saw coming. Lively insists that Baldoni, with the help of a powerful PR machine, launched a full-scale smear campaign against her. Suddenly, negative stories about her began flooding gossip sites and social media, painting her as difficult to work with and unstable on set. Some sources even claimed she was being overly dramatic and exaggerating the situation. But Lively wasn't buying it. She saw it as a calculated attack to ruin her career before she could ruin his. Insiders close to the actress say she was furious, not just at Baldoni, but at how quickly the narrative seemed to turn against her. Determined to fight back, Lively decided to take legal action, and that's when things truly exploded. If Blake Lively thought she could take down Justin Baldoni without resistance, she was in for a rude awakening. Instead of backing down, Baldoni fired back with a massive $400 million lawsuit, one that named not just Lively but also her husband Ryan Reynolds and their publicists. Baldoni's legal team accused Lively of defamation and civil extortion, claiming that she deliberately tried to destroy his career with false accusations. His argument? That Lively was using these allegations as leverage to gain more control over It Ends With Us, the very film they were working on together. According to Baldoni, Lively and Reynolds had their own hidden agenda, and their claims against him were nothing more than a strategic move to seize power behind the scenes. With Hollywood now divided and both sides refusing to back down, this lawsuit became more than just a legal battle. It was a full-scale war. And just when the industry thought it had seen it all, a shocking turn of events changed everything. The lawsuit didn't just affect Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Almost overnight, their once promising film project was overshadowed by scandal, and industry insiders began picking sides. For Lively, the backlash was immediate.
Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion. Baldoni directed and acted in the hit film It Ends With Us, which starred Lively as well.
Reports surfaced that major studios were suddenly hesitant to work with her, fearing the controversy could follow. Some sources even claimed that endorsement deals she had lined up were quietly put on pause. On the other hand, Baldoni wasn't walking away unscathed either. Despite his lawsuit, Many in the industry viewed the allegations against him as damaging, and some speculated whether he would ever fully recover from the negative press. But the most unexpected fallout came from within Lively's own camp. Rumors started circulating that her own PR team, the very people hired to protect her image, were beginning to distance themselves. Some even claimed that they felt misled by her legal strategy. Could it be that Lively was losing control of the narrative? And then came the moment no one saw coming. A sudden and unexpected decision in court changed everything. As the legal battle raged on, the media frenzy surrounding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni hit a breaking point. News outlets, entertainment blogs, and social media were flooded with speculation, with both stars' reputations hanging in the balance. But in a surprising twist, public opinion started shifting against Lively. Commentators like Megyn Kelly openly criticized her, calling her a serial fraudster and suggesting that she had ruined her brand with the lawsuit. Some fans who had originally supported Lively began questioning whether there was more to the story than what she had claimed. The fact that her own PR team was reportedly turning against her only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Baldoni's camp wasted no time in flipping the script, pushing a narrative that he was the real victim in this Hollywood scandal. His team argued that Lively's accusations weren't about justice or accountability, but instead, they were part of a carefully crafted smear campaign designed to destroy his reputation and gain leverage over It Ends With Us. His supporters pointed to the timing of the allegations, questioning why Lively only came forward when behind-the-scenes tensions over the film's production had reached a boiling point. They suggested that her claims were strategically placed to weaken Baldoni's position, not just as a co-star, but as the film's director and producer. If Baldoni's name was dragged through the mud, who stood to benefit? Some media figures took it even further, speculating that this was part of a larger Hollywood power play, one that involved not just Lively, but her husband Ryan Reynolds as well. The theory? That Lively and Reynolds were angling for more creative control over It Ends With Us and needed Baldoni out of the way. If they could discredit him, they could reshape the film's direction under their own influence. Entertainment insiders started questioning whether this was a legal battle or a strategic takedown. Was this a classic case of character assassination in Hollywood, where careers can be destroyed overnight by the right accusations? Or was Baldoni genuinely guilty of misconduct, but using the smear campaign defense to shield himself from accountability? Baldoni's legal team played into this uncertainty, painting him as a victim of a ruthless PR war. Some of his allies in the industry began quietly distancing themselves from Lively, wary of getting involved in a controversy that seemed to be turning against her. Others suggested that if Lively's claims were as strong as she made them seem, why did the lawsuit end so abruptly? Was Baldoni truly innocent, or was Lively's team just better at playing the game? One thing was certain, this battle had extended far beyond the courtroom. Now, it was a fight for public perception, and both sides were willing to do whatever it took to win. But just as the narrative was shifting in Baldoni's favor, a new development would send shockwaves through Hollywood once again. But just when it seemed like the court of public opinion was closing in on Blake Lively, a shocking legal twist flipped the entire narrative. Just as critics were beginning to paint Lively as a manipulative Hollywood power player, and some industry insiders whispered that she was on the verge of career implosion, an unexpected legal decision changed everything. Out of nowhere, the $400 million lawsuit against her was suddenly dropped. The move stunned Hollywood and left fans and legal analysts scrambling for answers. Court documents revealed that Baldoni's legal team had quietly withdrawn the case, but there was no official statement explaining why. There was no dramatic courtroom showdown, no high-profile press conference, just a quiet, abrupt end to a legal battle that had once seemed poised to drag on for months, if not years. This only fueled more speculation. What really happened behind closed doors? Some sources claimed that Baldoni's team may have miscalculated the strength of their case, realizing that they simply didn't have enough evidence to win in court. If true, this would suggest that the lawsuit was built on shaky ground from the start, and the sudden withdrawal was an attempt to save face rather than suffer an embarrassing public defeat. Others, however, believed that a secret settlement had been reached, a behind-the-scenes deal that allowed both sides to walk away without further public damage. If that's the case, it raises even more questions. Did Lively agree to a financial settlement to make the lawsuit disappear? Was Baldoni pressured by Hollywood executives to quietly end the case to avoid dragging the industry further into controversy? But then came the most explosive theory yet, one that turned the entire scandal on its head. Some insiders hinted that Lively may have had something even bigger on Baldoni, something so damaging that he had no choice but to pull the plug before things got worse. Could it be that Lively and her legal team had uncovered evidence that could have ruined Baldoni's career? Was there proof of misconduct, undisclosed private messages, or behind-the-scenes dealings that Baldoni's team didn't want to risk being made public? If so, this would mean that rather than being the one on the ropes, Lively actually held the upper hand all along, forcing Baldoni to walk away before the situation escalated beyond his control. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. This legal battle ended as mysteriously as it began. And while Blake Lively may have technically won this round, the real question is, at what cost? Because just as she was celebrating this unexpected victory, an even bigger problem was beginning to emerge. Some insiders claimed that a secret settlement had been reached, allowing both sides to quietly walk away without further damage. If true, this would suggest that both Lively and Baldoni saw no clear path to victory and agreed to bury the legal battle before it spiraled even further out of control. But what exactly did this settlement include? Were there undisclosed financial agreements? Were both parties forced into silence under strict non-disclosure agreements? Others, however, have a different theory that Baldoni's team simply didn't have enough evidence to push forward. Some legal analysts speculate that his lawyers realized their case was weaker than they initially thought and decided to pull back before things could turn against them. This could explain why the lawsuit was suddenly withdrawn without much of a fight. Perhaps there wasn't enough proof to support Baldoni's claims, or maybe the risk of exposing additional information outweighed the potential reward of moving forward. But the most shocking theory, that Blake Lively had something even bigger on Baldoni, something so damaging that it forced him to pull the plug before things could get worse. Some sources have hinted at the possibility that Lively's team uncovered information that could have flipped the entire narrative, potentially exposing embarrassing or career-damaging details about Baldoni. Could this be why he suddenly backed off? Did he realize that continuing the fight would open Pandora's box and lead to even worse consequences? However, just when it seemed like Lively might have won the battle, a new crisis erupted, one that no one saw coming. Reports surfaced that her own PR team was now turning against her. Allegedly, the very people who were supposed to be protecting her reputation felt that she had dragged them into a losing fight, one that ultimately harmed her public image rather than salvaging it. The backlash was immediate. Some insiders claimed that key members of her PR team felt blindsided, believing that they had been given incomplete or misleading information about the situation from the start. Now, rather than standing behind her, some sources suggest that they're considering legal action of their own, accusing Lively of misrepresenting facts and pushing them into a PR war that may have been unwinnable from the start. If true, this would be a devastating blow to Lively's ability to recover from the scandal. A star's public relations team is their first line of defense. Without them, managing the fallout becomes nearly impossible. If her own PR strategists are jumping ship, what does that say about how bad things really are behind the scenes? So, while the lawsuit may have been dropped, the real damage is just beginning. If Lively has lost the trust of her own inner circle, the question now is, Who will step up to defend her? Or is she about to face the biggest professional crisis of her career alone? So, while the massive lawsuit may be off the table, the aftermath is just beginning. The real question now is, what's next for Blake Lively? Could this scandal spiral into something even more damaging than she ever anticipated? Lively may have avoided the $400 million legal showdown, but the fallout from this controversy is far from over. Her once pristine image, carefully built over years in Hollywood, is now under fire, and the damage to her reputation may be irreversible. With public trust shaken, industry insiders are already speculating about the long-term consequences. Perhaps the most concerning development? Reports that her own PR team is turning against her. These are the very people responsible for protecting her public image, and if they're distancing themselves, it raises serious red flags. Could it mean that even those closest to her believe she mishandled the situation? Or worse, did they feel manipulated into defending a case that wasn't as clear-cut as they were led to believe? Meanwhile, major Hollywood players are watching closely. Will studios hesitate to cast her in future projects? Will brands start pulling endorsements to avoid association with the controversy? Lively has long been a sought-after name in the industry, but in a world where optics are everything, this scandal may have permanently tainted her star power. On the flip side, Hollywood loves a comeback story. Some stars have weathered worse storms and managed to rebuild their careers. But it takes the right moves, the right messaging, and a lot of public trust to win back. The real challenge for Lively now is navigating the damage and proving that she's still a force to be reckoned with. Can she salvage her reputation and regain Hollywood's trust? Or is this just the start of an even greater downfall? Let us know what you think. Is Blake Lively's career in free fall, or is there still hope for redemption? One thing's for sure, this drama is far from over. On the other hand, Justin Baldoni may have withdrawn his lawsuit, but does that mean he's in the clear? Or was he forced to back down before even more damning evidence surfaced? While Baldoni's legal team suddenly dropping the case might seem like a win for him, it raises serious questions about what was really going on behind the scenes. Was this a strategic retreat to protect his public image? Or did Lively's team have something so explosive that continuing the fight would have done more damage than good? Some legal insiders speculate that Baldoni may have been pressured into backing off, perhaps to avoid evidence surfacing that could have turned the tide against him. Others believe that, despite the lawsuit being dropped, the controversy itself may have permanently stained his career. After all, even if he walks away legally unscathed, Hollywood never forgets a scandal of this magnitude. But if Baldoni is facing career uncertainty, Blake Lively's problems are far from over. Hollywood loves a redemption story, but it also never forgets a scandal. Will Lively be able to repair her reputation and regain the trust of the industry? Or is this just the beginning of an even bigger downfall? With her once pristine image now caught in a whirlwind of controversy, Lively finds herself at a critical crossroads. Some of her past supporters have already started distancing themselves, while insiders claim that major brands and industry executives are rethinking their partnerships with her. Even though the lawsuit against her was dropped, the damage to her reputation has already been done, and perhaps even worse, the public isn't entirely on her side anymore. With growing speculation about her PR team turning against her, the narrative surrounding Lively's involvement in this legal battle is still unfolding. Will she be able to control the damage, rebuild her reputation, and reclaim her place at the top of Hollywood? Or has she crossed a line that she can't come back from? One thing is for sure, this Hollywood drama is far from over. And with tension still running high, it's only a matter of time before more shocking details come to light. What do you think? Did Baldoni back off to protect himself? Or was Lively the one playing a bigger game behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is nowhere near finished.